What's up, gang? Good morning to everybody out there. CJ Curry here. I wanted to do a PrizePicks NBA primer video for you guys this morning, getting you prime, prepped, and ready for today's NBA slate. We've got 9 games on tap, but there's a lot of potential things looming, such as blowout risk. You got pending injury news across the league, so we're going to take a look at all of that to get you ready to go and touch on a couple of little player prop strategies and options that you guys should consider as you go to make your entries. But first and foremost, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, get subscribed now, and also ring that bell so that you don't miss out on any content that I post here on YouTube. We're at over 8,000 subscribers and counting. I want you to be a part of the team, so make sure that you're subscribed with those notifications turned on, and absolutely positively slap that like button for me. It goes a long way in helping support the channel. Now, if you're not already playing on PrizePicks, it is a fantastic time to do so. PrizePicks is making daily fantasy sports simple by allowing you to choose anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5, or up to 6 superstars from your favorite sports. You then decide, are they going to go for more or less on their given statistical projection? And if you get them all right, listen, you can win up to 25 times your money. PrizePicks is allowing you to make your first deposit and get a 100% instant deposit match when you use code Curry while making your first deposit. You can take advantage of this offer today. All right, I've left a link down in the description of today's video, so definitely check out PrizePicks if you're not already playing. All right, let's get into today's NBA slate. As I mentioned, 9 games for us to take a look at, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern time here with the Milwaukee Bucks and the Detroit Pistons. Now, obviously, this is a matchup of two of the polar opposites, we'll call it. Milwaukee being one of the best teams in the league. The Detroit Pistons, well, they're not so good. They're kind of in full tank mode at 16-58. They're trying to land that #1 overall pick, hopefully turning that into Victor Wembanyama. I think he would be a great addition and a great fit for what the Detroit Pistons already have in place in the Motor City. So we take a look at the game total here, 234 points, not so bad, but it is a 16.5-point spread, and it's favoring the Milwaukee Bucks. Go figure. So this does look like a game that could potentially blow out and turn into a runaway, which makes me a little bit less likely to take any full game props over, right? Because we don't want to take the over and then somebody like Giannis Antetokounmpo only plays maybe 3 quarters or less of basketball. So what's great about PrizePicks is that you can go first half only. So if you go to the PrizePicks board and you take a look here, you'll see an NBA 1H option. That's NBA first half only. And in there, you'll find things like points, okay? You can take a player's first half points if you want. You could also take something like the points, rebounds, and assists. So if you're liking Giannis Antetokounmpo, who, by the way, is probably in for a pretty good night and in a good matchup against this weak Detroit Pistons front court, well, you could look at something like Giannis for first half points or first half PRA. You open up this little player card here. PrizePicks makes it real simple for you to decide whether or not you should go over or under by providing you the last 5 game logs in their little app here. So shout out to PrizePicks for making that easy. But that's your first game of the night. Again, 234 point total with a 16.5-point spread. Moving on here, we've got the Dallas Mavericks at the Indiana Pacers. This one's got a total of 234.5. Already ruled out is Luka Doncic, so no Luka for the Dallas Mavericks. That's some pretty big injury news, which means it's going to be Kyrie Irving kind of running the show. You'll get some Christian Wood off the bench. He's kind of become the 6th man for the Dallas Mavericks. As far as the Indiana Pacers go, it looks like Tyrese Halliburton is good to go. He's listed as a game time decision, but more likely to play than not play. On top of that, you got Miles Turner, who is a game time decision. Keep an eye on his status. And Chris Duarte, who has missed the last few games, he's going to be out again today. So those are your options as far as, you know, injury news, things to kind of keep an eye on. But I love the total here at 234.5 points with a 1-point spread. So this game looks like it's going to be one that stays close and competitive. Moving on to 7:30, we got the Houston Rockets at the New York Knicks, 230 points here, but it is a 12.5-point spread. We got the New York Knicks, who are one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, taking on, again, one of the worst teams in the Western Conference. The Houston Rockets are 18-57. They would like to land one of the top draft picks as well, so they're probably in full tank mode. Jae'Sean Tate for the Houston Rockets, game time decision. He's probably not going to play again tonight, but Jalen Brunson's the big one here from this game to keep your eye out on. If Jalen Brunson's out, that'll be a bump up for the likes of RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Quentin Grimes, and Emmanuel Quickly. We can't forget about him coming off the bench. So those are your first 3 games of the night. Moving on down here, 9 o'clock brings us another banger. We got the Phoenix Suns at the Utah Utah Jazz. DeAndre Ayton, game time decision. He did not end up suiting up, although it looked like he was going to against the Philadelphia 76ers in that last game. Maybe he plays tonight against a weakened Utah Jazz front court. If he does play, I think he's in for a great night facing off against the Jazz. As far as the Jazz go, they have their own list of injuries. We're talking about Jordan Clarkson. We're talking about Colin Sexton. Those guys are already ruled out. Keep your eye on Lauri Markkanen, probably their best player. He's been in and out of the lineup over the last several games. I don't think he played in the last one. He is listed as a game time decision for this one. As it stands at this moment, 233.5 is the total here with a 6.5 point spreads favoring the Phoenix Suns. If Markkanen plays, though, I think the game becomes a lot more competitive and it ends up being a closer contest. Moving on to the 9:30 tip-off. This is probably my favorite game of the night right here. The Philadelphia 76ers at the Denver Nuggets. It's only my favorite game, though, if Joel Embiid and the Beard himself, James Harden, end up playing. Right now, both guys listed as game time decisions, as is role player Daniel House. Okay, so stay on top of the injury news. Embiid, Harden, game time decisions. You may not want to jump into any props from this game until you get further clarity on who's in and who's out. That's what I'm trying to warn you with this video today, okay? Moving on to the Denver Nuggets side of things. They got their own injuries they have to worry about. I'm talking about Michael Porter Jr., who's listed as a game time decision right now, folks. 229.5 points, 5-point spread. If everybody's good to go, which I hope they are, because we could be looking at an NBA Finals preview right here between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Denver Nuggets. So hopefully everybody's good to go and we see all the superstars come out and shine bright tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Moving on to the 10 o'clock game, the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Portland Trail Blazers. Yes, it's a homecoming for CJ McCollum. Once upon a time, he spent many years as a Portland Trail Blazer. He's going to be making his return to Portland tonight. As far as injuries go, Zion Williamson still not ready to come back, although he is inching closer and closer to making his return, according to reports. So we might see the Z-Man make his return here for the New Orleans Pelicans sooner rather than later. For the Portland Trail Blazers, they got a long list of injuries that we need to monitor and stay on top of. I'm talking about Jeremy Grant, Yusuf Nurkic, Anthony Simons. All right, all three of those guys, game time decisions. Their statuses are truly up in the air at this moment. We're not sure if they're going to play or not. And then you got Damian Lillard, who's also listed as a game time decision, but it looks like, according to RotoWire, he's closer to being out than in tonight. So that's big news for Portland. Portland 32-42. They're kind of sitting on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. It might be time for them to pull the plug on their season and start to tank and improve their draft stock and draft status. But nonetheless, 227 points between these two teams with a 9.5 point spread. Again, if you think that any of these blowouts, any of these games with high totals, high spreads, if it scares you, you can go first half only on PrizePicks, which is the beauty of their app. Moving on, we got two more games to talk about. 10 o'clock, Minnesota Timberwolves at the Sacramento Kings. My friends, this one's got a total of 241 points. That is a huge total with a spread of just 5 points, which means it's going to stay pretty close and competitive if all goes right. Now, De'Aaron Fox did not play in the last game. He's the big one to monitor here. Looks like his status today is going to be GTD, meaning game time decision. We don't know if he's in or out. We probably won't get confirmation of his status until later on in the night. So stay on top of that. If he's out, you're going to probably see Davion Mitchell move into the starting point guard role alongside Kevin Huerter. They'll man the backcourt for the Sacramento Kings if Fox can't go. As far as the Minnesota Timberwolves go, they've got pretty much their full complement of players now. They're looking like a pretty good team when you look at it on paper, right? Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns in that front court, Mike Conley, the savvy veteran in the backcourt, running point alongside of Anthony Edwards. And then they got their role players, McDaniels, you got Kyle Anderson and such. So they've got a pretty nice little team forming in Minnesota. At 38-37, they can make a real push here and get themselves into playoff contention. Which brings us to the last game of the night here, the Chicago Bulls and the Los Angeles Clippers. As far as any type of injury news goes, Javonte Green, game time decision for the Chicago Bulls. Not a really impactful piece of injury news there. Other than that, Chicago's going to have their full complement of players. Pat Bev making his return to LA, taking on his former team, the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, outside of that, we've got Kawhi Leonard to keep an eye on because the Claw is listed as a game time decision tonight. We're not sure if he's going to play or not. So he's going to be one that you want to definitely keep your eye out on if he can't go. well, then you're going to have to rely on, Russell Westbrook, Eric Gordon, maybe some Marcus Morris, maybe some Terrence Mann, Robert Covington off the bench, okay? So that's what you have to look forward to if Kawhi can't go. Outside of him, Paul George is out. He's not going to make his return for the regular season, unfortunately. But the total here is kind of low at 219.5 with a 3.5-point spread. Keep your eye on Zach LaVine, though. He's been balling out, had himself a really good game the other night against the other LA team, the Los Angeles Lakers. So maybe he has some success tonight. So that's what you have to look forward to. This is your PrizePicks NBA Primer. Guys, I go live every day, Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time right here on this YouTube channel. So again, make sure notifications are turned on. Ring that bell. And join me at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to go over more NBA news. We're going to talk NBA PrizePicks props, helping you out with your player prop research today on this PrizePicks board. There's not a whole lot that I'm loving right now, but I'm sure by 12 o'clock, some things will start to take shape and we'll be able to hit you and lace you with the very best PrizePicks player props. Okay, CJ Curry here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, guys, hit the subscribe button and like this video on your way out, and we'll catch you at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace.